Hey, Carrie, welcome to the His and Her Money Show.
Hey, Carrie.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
We're thrilled to have you because, man, you're going to open up our understanding in a brand new way. We have a lot of people out here who are in the fight for financial freedom and digging their way out of debt. And they're like, man, they're trying to brainstorm some ways to get their hustle on, to get some extra income. And you have quite a unique perspective that's going to help them. But before we get into that, can you take a moment and introduce yourself to everybody and let them know what you're all about?
Sure. My name is Carrie Olson, and I'm a fellow podcaster too. I've been podcasting for a while, and I've known you guys for a while. We've met on several different occasions, and we've met in person before, so that's fun. I'm a voice actor professionally, so you can check out my work at carrieolsonvo.com. But basically, what I do is provide the voice part to different TV commercials, radio commercials, e-learning, online training, things that you'll hear on really anywhere that there's voice. So the metro bus that you take, where it talks about the next stop that's coming up, that's a type of voiceover. So that's what I do. And I live in Kansas City, Missouri with my husband and 2 daughters. My second daughter was just born 2 months ago. So she's very young, and you might get to hear her here in a little bit.
Love it. Love it. So now you are currently a very successful voiceover artist. Can you tell our audience how you got started in this business?
Sure. It's kind of a crazy story, as I think most stories are when it comes to entrepreneurship. But I started off working in online training. So I created online courses. And like a lot of people who do online training, I ended up doing some of my own narration for the courses. And so that was kind of my first real voiceover job, but I didn't know that it was voiceover. I didn't know it was a separate thing. I thought it was just part of my job. And also my husband and I have been podcasting for a while. So I've been behind a microphone in a lot of different arenas, but never pursued voiceover professionally. After I had my first daughter, Amelie, after my maternity leave, I'm driving to work and just really wanting to do something different, really wanting a change, not wanting to do the commute anymore, the 8 to 5, not seeing my family. And just by God's grace, listened to a random podcast I'd never listened to before. And there was a voiceover actress named Allison Steele who was being interviewed. And something just clicked halfway through the interview. And I thought, oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. That sounds like something I could do. And so she gives lessons. I called her up, started getting some training, and within a few weeks was booking work. And not long after that, was able to quit my job. I replaced my day job income with voiceover work and started doing that full time.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
You were just randomly stumbled upon a podcast that changed your life, like many people are doing right now.
That's right.
That's amazing. So you kind of gave like some snippets of what a voiceover actor is and does. Can you kind of give like a more in-depth, like what exactly are the types of clients that you work for, the types of scenarios? Because you kind of blew my mind there when you said even the voice on the bus is a voiceover actor. That's amazing.
Yeah, once you really start thinking about voiceover, you'll start to hear it everywhere. You'll realize it's not just TV and radio. It's not just animation. I think those are the main things that people think of is like cartoon characters and, the voiceover that you hear on TV that's telling you to go to Target for the latest sale. Those are definitely prominent types of voiceover, but it's not everything. You've got dubbing and ADR. So things where if there's a TV show and it's windy that day and they don't want to get the real actor to come back in to voice, a couple lines because it was distorted or for whatever reason, they'll get a voice actor to voice match the character's lines. And so that's a type of voiceover. Right now I'm doing the NCAA March Madness. The tournament is going on and I've got my voice all over ESPN for the tournament, just saying, this tournament is brought to you by Capital One, just doing those types of lines to bring you in and out of the games. But the types of clients you have, it's really all over the place. And especially now as it's getting easier and easier to do video, it used to just be clients that wanted to do TV and radio. That was all of voiceover and animation. And now you've got people who just put up a YouTube channel for fun or, for trying to get something going, and they'll hire a voice actor to do an intro or outro. Same thing with podcasts. You're getting more people that are just, in their bedroom that need some voiceover. So it's really exploding in the types of clients. You can go all the way from students to huge, movie productions and, movie trailers and things like that. So the types of clients are just everywhere. And there's a good chance that it's just as an everyday person, especially as an entrepreneur, you might be in need of a voice actor someday.
In your opinion, why do you feel that voiceover business is a viable side hustle for people to consider?
It's so lovely if you can get your voiceover career going because you can do it from home and it's so much fun. Like, I really enjoy it. It's not for everybody, just like, people have different bents. They're built for different things. But if you like performing and maybe you don't want to perform in front of people and you don't mind spending a lot of time in a small box all day or, closet, home studio, it's just great for, I'm a working mom. And so I've got, my kids here and it's just really flexible. So I can work during the day. I can work around their naps. Once they go to bed, I can do, record some after that. So it's extremely flexible. It's so much fun. And it's one of the few jobs where as an adult, you get to kind of pretend, play and have fun where you don't have to be super serious all the time. So there's a lot of pros, to pursuing a voiceover career.
Now, here's what everybody want to know. Are you ready, Carrie?
I'm ready.
How much money can someone make by jumping into pursuing a voiceover actor career?
Okay, so a lot. But, the way you asked it was by jumping in. So there are a lot of people who jump in, but it's like any other business. Are you going to stick with it and invest what you need to invest in order to make it? So you can go anywhere from being a hobbyist. There are people out there who are very part-time and, don't make a lot of extra money, but it's just something that they enjoy doing. And then there are people who are doing movie trailers for Disney and Hollywood and all of that, and they're literally making millions of dollars. So there's a broad range. So you just have to, there's a lot of different places you could be on that spectrum.
So how long did it take you to go to doing this full time, to actually be bringing in a full-time salary?
So for me, I booked a national radio campaign. My third job ever was a national radio campaign. So with that's what was able to push me over the edge and say, okay, let's go ahead and pull the plug on the full-time job and pursue this and see where it can take us. Because it replaced my day job income for a period of time. And so Derek and I, my husband, thought if I was able to do that part-time, if I could invest 100% of my time, where could it go? So I did it fairly quickly because of the caliber of job that I was booking early on. About 6 months into it was when I got my first big agent, and bigger jobs tend to come with bigger national agents. So for me, it was about 4 months, which is fast.
Wow.
So there are people who take it a little bit slower and, go about 2 years. There's some people that, 10 years. So it depends on a lot of things. And like any type of acting scenario where you're auditioning and relying on someone giving you the part, there are just a lot of moving parts in that.
Wow. Very, very interesting. Yeah. Now, for someone who wants to go after this, are there like startup costs associated with trying to get into this business?
Yeah, there are. There are definitely things that you need to have on hand. As you can probably tell, I'm not in a regular room. And this isn't something that you need right away when you first start recording, but you do need a recording space. And you can get a recording space anywhere from free to spending as much as you want. And what I mean by free is if you have a closet that has good acoustics, then you can just use that. And some voice actors even just leave their clothes in the closet because it helps with the sound dampening. So they kind of have as long as it sounds professional, and you can get a pretty professional sound without spending a lot of money. But you do have to have the recording space. You definitely have to have a good microphone, which again, you don't have to spend a ton of money on, but some. The peripherals that go with your microphone. So your interface, your cables, your pop filter, your stand, all of those types of things. You need recording software. There's a great free recording software out there called Audacity. But if you don't use that, you'll want to purchase a different one. And then coaching and training. So those are kind of the big main startup costs that you'll come across when you start to pursue voiceover.
I think you bring up a great point right there. It's some things like mystery shopping, you can kind of just sign up and go. But with this, although the reward can be very high, it's important that you get some type of training and coaching in this area if you want to have success in it, correct?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And that's one of the things I like to bring up too when we talk about doing it part-time, because I think that it feels like if you're doing something part-time, you should be able to put in part-time effort. But if you put in part-time effort to your voiceover career, which means you're skimping on something, you're either not putting as much money or time into training, or maybe you don't have the best equipment, you're not likely to book work. Because if you think about it, the people who are listening to your auditions aren't thinking, well, this person is only pursuing it part-time, so that makes up for the fact that their sound quality isn't as good or that their performance isn't quite up to par. They're just going to give the job to the person who sounds the best. So even if you're going to do it part-time, you do have to have the training and the equipment to at least compete. Otherwise, you'll get the cheaper equipment and not as good training or no training, and you won't be doing it part-time. You won't be doing it at all. You'll just be practicing, but your auditions won't be up to par with the other auditions. So you definitely do have to put in that time and money just to get going.
So how would someone know if they have what it takes to even start something like this?
So if you want to know what it takes, if you want to know if you have what it takes to get going, then get started and see if you start booking jobs. But if you want to know if you have what it takes to get started, just think about your history of sticking to things, because voiceover is definitely a career where I think a lot of people think that sounds awesome. You get paid to talk into a microphone, you get to do it from home, you can make a lot of money. And so a lot of people get interested, but there is that business side to it. So if you're not the type of person who's going to pursue the business side and really work at it, then you're not going to make it, just to be blunt. So, you can think this is a fun idea, but if you're not going to follow through and if you're not excited by studying and excited by coaching, then you're not going to love this business, because so much of it is auditioning. And it's kind of the icing on the cake when you book a job. So you have to be okay. You have to love the process. You have to love performing. And, the business is always changing. So you have to be okay with studying a lot and being okay with getting that training.
And I know we have a lot of wives and mothers that tune in, and some of them are looking for ways to bring in income and still have the balance to be with their family. So how has this? At first you started off just doing it part-time. Now you're doing it full-time. You're getting major deals. You're doing it real big. How has all this hindered or helped when it comes to being a mom and having the time to spend with your husband and spend with your kids and do this?
Yeah, so it's definitely a net positive. So I would encourage you, if you're a stay-at-home mom and you want to bring in extra income. I've done it. I have a friend actually who started getting some training. She has 3 kids at home, and she started booking some work. So she's an example of doing it part-time, actually. She did buy a good microphone and get some training, but she started booking some work, and she only auditions every once in a while. So it is possible, and definitely a net positive. I get to spend so much more time with my family because we're all in the same place. My husband works from home too. So even though I'm still working, we're in the same place, so I can take breaks. I'm still nursing my 2-month-old. She's never had a bottle, and we're able to do that because I'm at home doing voiceover. It is still a business, and I'm still an entrepreneur. So there are still those same stresses of I didn't get anything done today because I spent all day just managing the household and managing, kids and all of that. So there's a trade-off, of course, like with any business, trying to run a business and have a family, but absolutely best job I've ever had, way better than my corporate jobs. So yeah, net positive for sure.
That's great. So what are some common mistakes that people make when entering this business?
Yeah, so I kind of alluded to I've been in situations before where I tell people what I do and they think, "Oh, great, how can I get into that?" And I mention training and they literally scoff at me or laugh and think, "Why would I need to get training to learn how to talk? I already know how to talk. Why do you have a coach to help you to do that?" So I think that's one of the most common mistakes is it looks so easy. And if you hear the person on the radio talking, you're like, "I can do that. Why there's nothing special. There's no skill involved in that." But there absolutely is. And once you start training, you'll start to see that it's not nearly as easy as you think it is. And a lot of people, kind of a test you can do is if you get some copy, some commercial voiceover copy, put it in front of your face and start to read it. A lot of people get this super announcery, unnatural type of tone that they start talking with. And that's usually the opposite of what you want in voiceover. So you actually have to get training and coach to learn how to sound natural, to how to read someone else's words as if they were yours. And then there's the science of breaking down copy. So how would you say a sentence when it ends in a period compared to a question mark? How does a comma sound? And really analyzing and dissecting copy. So there's a lot to it. So not getting training or not thinking you need training is one of the biggest mistakes. Giving up too early is a huge one because, again, it does seem like so much fun. And a lot of people are surprised by the amount of work that goes into it. So you get on, you get started on this high and you're super excited. And then you start to realize, oh my gosh, it's going to be months, maybe longer before I even book my first job. This is a lot of work. This is a lot of training. But you do have to think of it like if you were going to start a restaurant, you wouldn't expect to turn a profit the next day. There's some investment that goes into it. And if you don't know how a restaurant runs, there's some education you need to get before you do it. So it is a business and it's very different from a lot of other businesses. So it's necessary to get that education, whether that's from books, from actual classes, from listening to podcasts, Googling online. It's definitely important to just have that solid knowledge base.
Imagine a life where your money isn't strangled by mortgage payments. Imagine what you could do when you don't have to send them money that you work so hard for. Come get simple, powerful, and real solutions to eliminating monthly mortgage payments forever. America's #1 money couple presents Crush My Mortgage. In this exclusive course, you will be equipped with strategies to help you move faster toward the promised land of owning your house free and clear. Learn strategies to help you in the areas of payment acceleration, extra income generation, and wealth creation, all to help you crush your mortgage. Visit crushmymortgage.com and get started today. Join us on the path to power, freedom, and legacy. That's crushmymortgage.com.
So you kind of hit on some of the pros and a little bit of the cons, but you said that it's a net positive. So for somebody who's on the fence, kind of teeter-tottering, like, should I give this a try? Is this too overwhelming? Should I give this a try? Is this too much work? What would you say?
I would say go for it. I think that it's awesome. And, if you end up buying equipment and then you decide not to do it, sell it. There's someone else out there who will buy your equipment from you. But it's a fun job that can actually, there's a friend of mine who has been studying for about a year, and he did about 300 auditions, I think, before he booked his first job. But he booked it. He has now gotten several agents and booked a huge job, a pretty big job with one of them. And so it's really starting to pay off for him now. And the reason he stayed with it is because he just loves it so much. He's that kind of performery person that just likes to perform. And so he's stuck with it. So yeah, go for it. If you think if it's something that sounds good to you, if there's, you can feel something right now just going, man, I wonder if that's something I could do, or I feel like that's something that could be my thing, then go for it. And also think about what you wanted to do as a kid? And did you ever do funny voices? Do you like making people laugh? Do you like to tell stories? And if those things apply to you, then I think that it's worth at least checking out. I'm not going to tell anyone not to go for it. I think, if it sounds cool to you, then definitely go
now
for
I
it.
have the urge to ask this, if you don't mind. Can you please give us an example of a real life voiceover?
Sure. You're listening to it. No, most of the work I do is, this was more true about a year ago, but most of the work I do is in my own voice for the most part. I do get some that are, specifically mom voice or specifically teen voice. I do quite a bit of teen voice. Trying to think of one of my latest. So the NCAA is on right now. I can pull up some copy if you want and read that.
Could be someone listening. You never know.
Oh.
This was just random, by the way.
So I hope. Actually, there's some right here.
Okay.
What is this? Okay, so here's one for the outlet shops at Grand River.
All right.
Now this one is super over the top,
Okay.
and I'm not used to being recorded video, so I apologize if I look ridiculous. Okay, and this is supposed to be cheesy. Spring fashion forward at the outlet shops of Grand River. Enjoy special deals and outlet pricing on your favorite brands. Stay stylish, sporting the latest fashions, and stay fresh, mixing and matching your spring and summer attire. So that's our super over the top
Wait a
one.
minute now. Carrie,
Like chills are literally
There's
going down
one.
my arm. I'm like, that
Carrie,
didn't even
like,
sound like her.
we
That
actually
sound-
know you, and it's like,
Yeah,
that was not you.
Wow. That was amazing. Wow.
That was crazy.
That was
That's crazy
amazing.
good.
Now they're usually, again, I didn't warm up for that, and they're not usually that over the top. That's pretty high
That
energy
was
for me.
amazing.
Oh, thanks.
Wow.
You are an
Most of the
actor.
ones I do are more chill, but that was just what I had, so that's what you
It
got.
sounds like I've heard that before. You're right. It sounds so
That was
real.
Carrie.
Oh my gosh, it was amazing.
So if someone wants to try and get this thing going, they want to follow your footsteps. They say, "Yeah, I think I do want to do this." What would be like the first few steps you would tell them to do to kind of get started?
So start listening more to voiceover. Start listening intentionally. So if you want to be a commercial voice actor, start listening to commercials. And if you have a DVR, we usually fast forward the commercials and watch the show. Start watching the commercials and fast forwarding the show, and really just get a feel for what's out there, for the different types of work that you feel that you could do. And then start either transcribing those and writing those out and practicing with them, or you can go online and find other scripts that you can work with, but literally just start practicing. If you get to that point, you'll be way ahead of where most people are. Just practicing to yourself, recording yourself into your iPhone or whatever you have, and listening back, and start thinking critically about acting choices. If you're listening to commercials on TV and radio, start asking who the speaker is talking to and why they're saying what they're saying and who's their audience and where are they when they're saying it. Because when you're doing voiceover, you're creating your own world around you. Again, you're probably in a small box or room somewhere, so you don't have the advantage of most actors where you're making eye contact with another person and reacting to them. So it's all your imagination. So really start getting that down, because that will help you when you get into coaching and training, if you already know how to kind of create your own world when it comes to recording voiceover. And then, and start getting, eventually you want to get some training. And, when you first start, you don't have to have the equipment yet. So it's all just about you learning and getting that practice. And then eventually, once you want to start auditioning, then you'll need to buy a microphone and really get set up so that when you audition, if you book a job, you can record it.
So are there some websites you kind of mentioned about certain websites? Maybe you can go and find some scripts and whatnot. Are there some other websites that could kind of be a resource for people who are trying to figure all this out?
Sure. So there's, if you're looking for scripts, edgestudio.com has, I think, thousands of scripts in different genres. So like business, real estate, banking, all that stuff. You can find different scripts for radio and TV. And I think they even have like e-learning and narration, that kind of thing. So you can find scripts there to practice with. Also, if you have magazines, a lot of times like blurbs on magazines or billboards are great to practice with. They sound kind of commercially. there's a site called voicebank.net that you can go to listen to demos. So everyone who's represented by a major talent agency, a lot of them are listed on voicebank.net. So you can go and kind of listen to what's out there, because eventually you'll need to have a demo so you can kind of hear what those sound like at voicebank.net. And then if you want to start getting auditions, there are sites called pay-to-play sites where you pay a fee either monthly or annually. And in return, you get access to real auditions that people are putting out there. And so that's how a lot of people get started these days. That's how I got started. And those sites, the big ones, there's one called voice123.com. There's one called voices.com. There's thevoicerealm.com, and there's bodalgo.com, bodalgo.com. Those are a few that you can go and check out and start auditioning and see if you book anything. Wow. Yeah. And then there's Crispin Freeman has a podcast called Voice Acting Mastery that I love. And you can learn a ton if you listen to that. Just start at episode 1 and start listening, and you'll learn a lot about the industry.
Awesome. So now you can help a lot of people out where if they're trying to get into this industry, you can kind of lessen the learning curve a little bit, because you put together an awesome program that could really help them get into this business and do it at a very high success rate. Can you tell our audience more about it and how they can sign up?
Sure. So I have a class called the VoiceOver Success Intensive, and it's 6 modules of just the best information. That it's no fluff. It's what you need to know, and also includes some performance coaching. So you'll get both the business side and the performance side from the course. And it's a monthly membership site, so you can join. And once you join, we have monthly Q&As. We have these sessions called hot seat sessions, where one person from the membership will get to be in the hot seat, and basically we'll just talk to them for about an hour about their business and where they want to go. And it's kind of a personal coaching session that everyone's invited to, so everyone can benefit from that. So we have those once a month. It's all online and on-demand videos, so you can get the videos there. There's also audio and transcripts. You can learn whichever way works best for you. And then I have a bunch of resources in there as well, including some behind-the-scenes footage of me doing some national TV commercials. So if you want to know what it's like to actually record a national TV commercial from your home, you can jump on there. And that's been really beneficial for a lot of people. And it's, the friend I mentioned earlier, who I said got his first job recently, he said that was really helpful for him because he got to kind of see how it works. Because if you've never been directed before in a session, it's really weird. And you can get really self-conscious because you're giving a take, and then and then there's just silence on the other end. And it's like everyone's talking to each other, trying to figure out which take they liked best. And it can be really nerve-wracking if you don't know how to handle it. So there are a bunch of different resources like that in there that just give you the inside scoop on what you need to know to really get going.
Awesome. And give them the website one more time.
It's CarrieOlsenVO.com, CarrieOlsenVO.com. And there's a link right there on the front page that says, join the membership site, VoiceOver Success Intensive.
And we'll be sure to have links to everything that Carrie mentioned. Just go to hisandhermoney.com/podcast and you will find it there. Carrie, this has been super incredible. We thought we knew you, but we didn't know you all the way. And now we do. And you provided some awesome insight on becoming a voiceover actor. So thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to share it with our audience today.
Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you. It's always fun to talk to you guys.